Good morning, Geo. How are we doing today? Well, here we go. Second installment of circles here. Today we're going to talk about arc length measures in terms of degrees. Okay? We're not going to talk circumference, so to speak, the distance around a circle, but we're going to find out the degree measure of the arc. Okay? So here's what we need to do. We need to take a look at our circles. We need to talk about some things. We have a thing called a central angle. Right? The central angle would be something like this, where it's an angle inside a circle where the vertex is at the center of the circle, right? And naming that angle is just like naming any other angle. 3 letters, vertex goes in the middle. So this would be like ABC or CBA. Right? That's what we call a central angle. Now, as we get going through today, the central angle, let's say that was 30 degrees. Let's say the central angle is 30 degrees. We're going to talk about the arc degree measure, which would be how many degrees does it take up on the outside, okay? Now, good thing is central angle and the arc measure, central angle and the arc measure in degrees are going to be the same, right? As we get going through this week, that's going to look a little different. So keep in mind today, we are talking about the central angle in the middle. Vertex is in the middle center of the circle. The degree measure of the angle is going to be the degree measure of the arc between the 2 endpoints. Okay? So that's what our focus is today. Super duper easy. All right? Well, then we got some other terms we got to define here. First, we got semicircle. Well, that's half a circle. A couple things here. Look for the diameter. That is automatically 180 degrees. So if I go over here, name that angle. That's angle DBE. That is a semicircle. It cuts the circle in half. Its degree measure is 180 degrees. We got a minor arc. Central angle that is less than 180 degrees. So it's the part of the arc in between the 2 letters. Like I said, between A and C. That's less than 180 degrees, less than a semicircle. So the way we would name that is the 2 letters that the arc is in between, where it begins, where it ends, with the arc symbol over the top of it. Right? Draw like a little eyebrow or something. Okay? A minor arc is less than 180. A major arc is between 180 and 360. Right? So if I wanted to talk about, so if A to C going the short way is less than 180, and that means going A to C the long way is greater than 180. We call that a major arc. Now, if I said, hey, AC, and I want the major arc, well, I don't know which way you're talking about. You're talking the short way or the long way. So we're talking long way. We need to use 3 letters. Where does it start? Where does it end? And then one other letter in between. So you can either use D or E. It does not matter. It passes through both of them. So a major arc is going to use 3 letters. Where does it start? Where does it end? Those go on the outside, and then in this case we either have either D or E as another point that it passes through. So those are our 4 new words, and now we're going to take that concept of the central angle is the exact same measure of the arc length to find out different angle measures. Okay, so here we go. Using our circle, find the measure of each arc or angle named. And they give us ED as the diameter. All right, so let's go through here. FCD. Hey, the arc between the 2, D and F, is 60. That means the central angle down there is going to be the same exact thing. Okay? Now, let's find the measure. It says of arc AE. And again, it's got 2 letters, so that means the short distance, A to E. Well, that, thankfully, is already in there as 45 degrees. Life is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Next to each measure, we're supposed to write the name of the arc or angle. Well, I think we're just practicing measure of angle FCD. All right, so you're just rewriting the question. I'm not going to waste time doing that because it's right there. You can practice it. Just naming the angles, all right? ADF. So when I'm looking at ADF, this is a 3-letter one. So we know that this is going to be bigger than 180, all right? So A to D to F. Well, we know that this piece here is 60 degrees. We got to be able to find out how big this piece is. Well, how can we do that? Anyone see? Anyone see? All right. So this is our goal. It says ED is the diameter. It said that in the directions right here. ED is the diameter. That's 180. We know one part is already 45 degrees, so we are going to subtract 180 and 145, 45 and get 135 degrees. So this piece is 135 degrees. This piece is 45 degrees. So if I want to find out now the measure of ADF, I want to take the two angles and add them together and get 195. Right? A to D is just 135. We already found that out because we needed that piece to get ADF. All right, measure of ACD. All right, measure of angle ACD. Well, we already found out the arc measure was 135, so the degree measure is also 135 degrees. You might be thinking some of this is redundant. Well, if I found AD, why are you asking ACD? The idea, again, is to hammer home the central angle, and the degree measure between the two endpoints is the exact same thing. All right? ACF, angle ACF. Now, what do we need? We need to find the arc of EF. Well, same thing. ED is 180. All right. ED is 180. We're going to subtract out that 60. And we get this piece over here to be 120. So we want to, for ACF, we want to add 120 and 45 together to get 165 degrees. Now we got all the pieces. Now we can just start adding stuff together. So AFD. A to F to D. All right? We want to find that arc measure. We'll just add all that up. 105 plus 120 is 225 degrees. And then FDE. F to D all the way to E. A couple ways to do this, all right? A couple ways to do this. Think about it, right? You can add all the three parts together, or we know a full circle is 360 degrees, and I don't want this piece here, so I could just do 360 minus 120 to get 240. Or I could add 60 plus 45 plus 135 to get 240. So there's a couple of different ways to look at it. In the end, you're going to get the same exact answer. So that's something to keep in mind, a little tip as you're working through this. This last page, again, is just restating central angle. Angle is in the vertex is in the center of the circle. All right, endpoints are going to be on. The major arc has 3 letters, and it's bigger than 180, less than 360. The minor arc is the little piece, less than 180, uses 2 letters to name it. And then a semicircle is the diameter of the circle, that is 180 degrees. Full circle is 360. So there you have it, short and sweet. As you're working through this, the first thing I would do is try to figure out all the straight lines going across that are the diameter, because that's going to break it up into 180 degrees. So that's a little trick, little hint as you were going through things to notice. Look for that 180 degrees to possibly help you out as you roll through this. So.